Hi, everybody. Before I get started with the point of my story, I have to tell you that it starts when I was 11, which is in 1952. I'll save you the math. I was born in 1941. I'm 82. Just keep moving. That's all I have to say about that. Before it was 1950, 5 major tragedies had happened in my immediate family. The only one I'm going to tell you about, because it's probably happened to a lot more families than some of these other things, was that my Uncle Frank, my mother's brother, got shot down over Sicily, very close to where his mother had been born years before, in friendly fire. That was, I won't say it was the least of it, but it's the only one I can tell you about. There was a lot of tragedy, and by the time there were 4 little girls, courtesy of the rhythm method, one every 2 years, we're at 1952, and things had started to look up for the Furlong family. My father finally got his own pharmacy. He decided, he was a country boy. Well, let me just say a little bit about my parents first. My mother was Italian Virgo. If we were supposed to go somewhere, you just march yourself over there right now and do that. My father was Irish Gemini. Run along, children, and just do whatever you want, basically. So that was my Gaelic and garlic upbringing. So my dad finally got his own drugstore. He loved movies, so if there was a classic on the late movie, he didn't care how young we were allowed to stay up for it unless we fell asleep or something. And then he decided that one of the best things he could do, being a country boy and having loved to swim, was for all of us little girls to learn how to swim. However, when my mother was a kid, she was in a creek trying to learn how to swim, and some little jackass dove into the water, grabbed her by the ankles, and pulled her under. So she never could, she hated the water, but Daddy really wanted us to learn how to swim. He probably could have taught us all, but he hired a swimming teacher for a 6-person swimming class at Fountain Ferry Pool, hoping that my mother's fears, was 5 to 1. So she came for the classes and all that, but that's important later. All right, now, my father, after he got his own drugstore, he became the president and probably every other officer of the American College of Apothecaries, who had their annual convention at a place called French Lick, Indiana. It is named that because it was a French settlement, and there are sulfur waters there, and salt licks for the deer, etc. But when we told our slightly older little friends that we were going to a place called French Lick, they told us that sounded like really nasty. So here we are, 6 of us in the Oldsmobile driving up to Indiana with our parents trying to explain to 4 giggling little girls in the car why French Lick was a perfectly legit type of place to be taking your children to. And we were the only children that any parents took. So my mother would spend hours in the hotel room in the afternoon ironing our little ruffly dresses so that we could attend the banquet at night with live music and watch all the people do like real ballroom dancing. So one night the orchestra leader came over to our table. We must have been adorable. And we were very well behaved. But I forgot something. My memory's good though, but I did forget one little thing. How was I after all those tragedies? Here's how sweet and scarred I was. I used to take my library books and hide them under the bed in the back of the closet. So my mother would give me money to take to the librarian because that's how I thought they got paid. With those fines. So I was carrying a little bit of, the world on my shoulders. And I will never forget the day that I apologized to Miss Sinclair. I'm like, I'm so sorry, but my mother found my books in the closet, and now she even wants change back. I'm really sorry. And Miss Sinclair, is that how you think we get paid? So when I found the Louisville Free Public Library paid, it made me so happy. So anyway, back to French Lick. So the orchestra leader came over and he asked us if we by any chance knew any songs. And my Italian mother said, why, they most certainly do. They can sing Way Marie in Italian. So he invited us up to the thing. And he said, what's your last name? And I said, Furlong. And he said, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present the King Sisters singing Way Marie. I didn't know what was wrong with Furlong, but we sang it, and to great applause. You can see where that got me, right? That little taste of the applause. Okay, so anyway, this resort was great. It had a great big pool out front where everybody went there. But my dad, the country boy dad, on an early morning walk found what I always thought of as a secret pool, because whenever we went there was never anybody there but us, my dad and my sister. So the bottom of the pool, the deep end was in the middle and shallow all around. And I loved to swim underwater, and I felt sorry that my mom couldn't. I loved to open my eyes while swimming underwater. And this one very magical moment, in this very magical afternoon, just as I pushed myself up from the bottom, the sun was shining right into my open arms. And I want to just give all that to you. Thank you.